What's up, Massive? What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, Massive? What's up? Mish, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mish? I am streaming from my phone now, so you should be able to hear me. Okay, cool beans. Well, we're gonna have to take this route and do the shears from here. I'm gonna go on my thing right now and see what we're looking like on here. For the Massive and the crew. I was not supposed to be here, so I am in town, and I've decided that since I'm here in town, let me just share with the Massive and share what I'm going on. But good to see you. Good to see you all. So the thing go, you know what I mean? It never always goes the way you want it to. But I saw the thing go, you know what I mean? Let me open this up and see what it says. Share to a page. Okay, I'm going to do that. Share to my page over here. And see what I'm going. You share it too. I shared the post on Jamaicans.com, Mish. And to the extent of what we can do right now, I won't even be playing any music today. Just coming on. Like I said, I'm not supposed to be here. But we'll do the thing. You know the thing already, right? We gotta make sure everybody. Hold on. What you mean you're not seeing me, Hope? You sure about that? Mish, can you see me or hear me? Which one? Can you see me or hear me, Mish? Which one is it? Hope, what you say? You can't hear me, but you can't see me. Which one is it? Because I logged on to Facebook. So Mish can see and hear me. Hope says she can hear me, but she can't see me. I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm really not sure what the problem is. So I'll go and try something else. See what I'm going. I guess technical difficulties are a part of the game. I'm kind of here because, you know, when the whole hurricane thing was supposed to come into town, I wanted to make sure that I'm here, close by my fam. I don't know, something's wrong on that end, Hope, because I am. Let's see here. Not sure, Hope. I'm really not sure, because I'm going on Facebook from my laptop or so forth to see if I can see, and I can see. Let me see if I can hear. See if I can hear. Not sure, Hope. I really not sure. Hear the replay? Yeah, man. So I don't know what's going on there, Hope. I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't know, Rasta. I don't know, Rasta. I don't know. But thanks nonetheless for rocking out with us. I'm gonna click 2 pages over here so I can see what the people are saying over there on Jamaicans.com, and so I can see what the people are saying on homegrownwithgcole.com. You seen me now, Hope? In all my glory. Let's see if we can do that now. Oh, that stay. What busy say? Enough of them stay, so right? Not sure. So you can hear me now? Well, first of all, let me just say welcome, Massive and crew. Welcome. Adjust my screen. Let me just turn. You know what I mean? All right, I tell you what. I'm going to adjust my screen. Make sure that I have my screen the proper way. Boom. How is that for screen adjustment, Mish? How is that right there for screen adjustment? Did I do it? Did I do it right? Much better? Yeah, man. First of all, touching base with all my people who are, a lot of people are in Fort Lauderdale preparing for the hurricane because we're in that hurricane path. And the Weather Channel and everything said that we were going to be getting it. So a lot of people were preparing for that. And myself, I was out of town. I came back in town, ran in town without much of my equipment, which is the reason why I'm going, even though I'm in the studio, I'm live streaming with you right now from the phone. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that going on. But ultimately, it's just a great vibe to be able to, as always, be here with you guys. Just hang out and have a good time and all of that. You know what I mean? Crazy things going on right now. Jamaica, oh my gosh. Seeing everything going on with our misappropriation of our own culture, misunderstanding of our own culture, lack of appreciation for our own culture. There are certain things that just should never ever happen. Not in this day, not in this age. It just should never, ever, ever, ever happen. I've gotten a lot of people reaching out saying this is something that we should talk about. The reason why I'm not diving too in depth about it is because I know for a fact that we don't have all the info, right? We don't have all the info. But the fact that it is an issue from the get-go is in itself an issue, right? The fact that it's an issue from the get-go is in itself an issue. And that should never, ever happen. I remember growing up in Jamaica and going to high school. And kids with locks. There were probably only 2 or 3 students in my school who had dreadlocks, right? And there are other schools that had more. And it's later on I'm realizing that probably the reason why we didn't see so many people in our school with dreadlocks is because probably they weren't as welcomed. If we're keeping it a buck, right? If we're keeping it 100, they probably weren't as welcomed. But to see right now that a school, my issue is not so much even about the end results and where we are right now, but it's just the mere fact that a school would deem it in 2020 necessary and important to be banning a student from coming to the school with dreadlocks, that you would go as far as going to court, not just court, but to the highest court of the land, for them to reinforce an act that would ban a student from coming to school with dreadlocks, to me is crazy. When I say crazy, I mean crazy. Now, we all know how politics goes and we all know how government works. You'd like to think that the prime minister, you'd like to think that the president can just step in at any time and say, guess what? The big man is here. Shut that down. Shut that down. Shut that down. But it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way at all. Right? But I'd be remiss to think that from the get-go when everything started, the powers that be didn't have the clout to be able to call somebody and say, yo, where though? Shut that down. You may not be able to execute it in court because formally you can't. But I'm thinking to myself, if I am the highest office in the land, if I am the prime minister, if I'm the president, and something like that will go on, I should be able to reach out to the school and say, yo, are you crazy? What are you doing? And then at that point, if it's a situation where they decide and that no, they want to proceed anyway, then I guess you have to go through the necessary process and protocols. But I don't even know what to say outside of this is crazy. Outside of this is ridiculous. It's 2020. And there's an issue at all with somebody going into a school, attending any school, I don't care how private it is, because of the fact that they have dreadlocks, to me is ridiculous. Mish says, in the States, employees are asking employees with locks to cut it or it hinders one from employment. Here's the thing, Mish. I don't even care about the United States. We're talking about Jamaica. Jamaica, where one of its chief pop culture exports is Rasta, is Bob Marley, is the concept of Rastafari, one love, music, right? Food, culture, ganja. And I'm just saying the whole concept of our origins. That's something that you can say is birthed in Jamaica, right? Majority of the other things we can always say, okay, these things we bring from Africa, we do this, we do that. But in all honesty, the movement itself, though inspired by Rastafari in Africa, the actual movement and everything has its roots in Jamaica, right? It's part of our heritage, part of our history, right? So there's no way in hell that we as Jamaicans should be saying, can't come to school because of Rasta, because you think stay away. Now, here's my thing. When I was going to school, the couple of people who had locks, I mean, I say Rasta because they lived the life like as Rastafarians, so I give them that respect. They were Rastafarians, but the few of them that were at school, they were properly groomed. The locks was in at all times. At school, our belts and our shoes were either brown or black. And it's just now that I'm reflecting, I'm saying, I would notice also that their toms that they had their locks in was either brown or black, right? So they were adhering to protocol from the school in terms of whatever colors the school said. They weren't wearing red, green, and gold tam all around school, right? And outside of that, they were dressed in the same uniform that we were, and everything was everything, right? So, that being said, there are ways Rasta can neat. I say neat Rasta every day, neat, professionally dressed. You know what I mean? Them not coming in school come preach Rastafari to nobody, but that's their religion, and they live that at home, and you can't ask somebody for cut off them locks, right? Are you asking somebody of Caucasian or Indian or whatever descent to do something to their hair? That's crazy. I almost say crazy, I mean ludicrous, right? It's ridiculous. Again, I don't expound on it too deep. We're just talking on it surfacely because we don't know the ins and outs. And as with everything, something is going to come out that, well, this is what and that is what and rah, blah, blah, blah. But I saw a notification. I'm going to see if I can even get it on here. That some verbiage that was sent out by the parents. I also saw something sent out by the Prime Minister. And, and it's just, it's sad, man. It's sad is all I'm going to say. It is ridiculously sad. And, yeah, I can't get into it, but I can't get into my message here, but it's crazy. Now, to show the cultural confusion that we have in the land, right? There are things that are coming from ancient days that we still honor, embrace, even though it's linked to oppression, right? When you look at the highest courts in our land and the fact that they do wear the wigs and stuff like that, that is heritage from the British high courts that we still practice in Jamaica, in addition to other things, that if we really trace the roots of them, they have ties to our own oppression. It's no different from people going on around right about not tearing down these monuments. So if we're really looking into it, we're embracing the wrong things and desecrating the wrong things, right? Locks. What? Because loosely translated, what you're saying pretty much is this child will not be afforded an education because she has locks. This child could be the most brilliant person out of the island. We don't know. You know what I mean? In the future. But you're going to stop her from getting her education because of locks? Now, some might say There are other schools that she could go that would accept her, probably. But from my understanding, that school is a good school that offers a great level of education. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? Martin Wagwan family. You know, and there are other places she could go, but that school offers a level of education that her parents really like. Her parents really want their child to have. And why not? Why should they not? Why should they not? Again, don't want to make too much of a big thing without where I am right now. I don't have access to most of the information that I'd love to have access to. Hence, again, I'm doing a midday link up on my phone live stream. But there are certain things, as I had this conversation last night with my daughter and with my in-laws and whatever. It's one thing if this happens in the US. This is the US of A. That's not their culture, right? Even though it would be wrong, it is wrong of them to denounce somebody, to deny somebody of opportunities based on the way they carry their hair, because technically what you're doing is you're denouncing their ethnicity, right? But that's America. We know America's thing, right? America is an our place. We came here, right? But Jamaica, yeah, that's our home. That's our place, right? And I would like to get a physical look, right? I'd like to get a physical look on the persons who are behind this issue. The people at the school that pushed for that ban. The people at the school who spent money, because money is spending. That's the crazy part about it. Money was spent in order to go to court, in order to get them to substantiate a ban against this young lady because of the way her hair was, right? And I'd like to get a physical look, because I noticed no photos have been released. I'd like to get a look at these people who spent that time and that effort and that energy and the money, the financial resources to block, to hinder a student from coming to school based on having locks on their head. And if they didn't look like us, then it would be a damn shame. And it would further corroborate the theory that racism exists big time in Jamaica too, right? Like I said, we are all aware of it, but we're also mostly victims of classism more so than racism. But the other thing is, if they look like us, then there's a lot of self-hate going on. A lot of this self-hate comes to you courtesy of the almighty dollar, right? Is it a situation where you feel like you're going to have some people not want to come to the school or not want to have their children come to the school because you're having people there with locks? I don't get it. I don't get it. So let me see what's going on now. Carol, this is the last thing I would think come from Jamaica. I never thought we would come to this. Western world, yes, but not in my Jamaica. And that's exactly what I am saying, is that if some of this stuff happens in the US, it's expected, but not Jamaica. Jamaica is a land of Rastafari. But at the end of the day, even though we're all disappointed, and be honest with me, we're not all surprised. Because remember, this is the same land where I persecute people for ganja for all these years. Right? And now are way behind the 8 ball in the cultivation and exportation of marijuana. Mish said, but they can wear those ugly blonde wigs in Parliament. Yeah. And that part of it I only mention. I know people mention that because again the cultural aspect of it, but it's just ignorance too. And when somebody will be willing to sit down and embrace and accept something that is foreign, but deject something that is their own. It goes right back down to the whole Willie Lynch syndrome and the self-hate syndrome. It's no different from why we have so much bleaching in the country. That's the reason why those same people mustn't complain, You see those people in those schools, when the students them come through the door, bleach out face, right? And them something there, and tatted up. You must not complain, because that's what you're asking for. You are telling them that their ethnicity, right, is going to marginalize them. So they need to do whatever they can do to get rid of it. And if it process their hair, if it lighten them skin if needs be. Right? Well, go on, Martin, how you stay? Happy anniversary, by the way, to you and your queen, and a happy anniversary. In this day and age, you know what I mean? We have to celebrate every year. Getting married is one thing. Loving somebody is one thing. Maintaining a marriage, maintaining a family, that thing is work, even though you love them, not true? So every year that we celebrate, and especially as us, black families, growing up together, raising our children in, dual parent homes, showing them what the fabric of the society is, showing them that mommy and daddy did it, right? And of course, mommy get on my nerves sometimes, and me get on our nerves sometimes, but guess what? When the child ain't around, we address that. When the child is in the room, we are family, and it's all love. And we're not fabricating nothing either, it's all love. Because even though my wife get on my nerves, love her, and I know says me get my fair nerves, and she love me, right? I love them thing there. I love them thing there. I love them thing there. So celebrate. We always talk about Black Lives Matter. Guess what? Black family structure matters. All right. So big up everybody celebrating anniversaries out there. Treat the queens like the queens they are. I love it when I say, the efforts that we go through just to make the people that in our lives know so we love them. Whether it be our children, whether it be our spouses, whether it be our parents. It's something that we're working on, because in all honesty, it's not taught to us a lot of times. Because that's why I'm so proud of my buttes and right about my peers. Because when you talk to each other, you realize all these people going around right now with their families, loving their kids, celebrating their family. We go link up at each other's house, and it's me, my wife, my child, you, your wife, your children. And we're just having a good grand time. As we get into the conversation, we never really say that. You know what I mean? Majority of us never say that. It doesn't mean we didn't grow up with both parents. But a lot of us didn't see that because it's customary and culturally, affection is not necessarily something that's taught in black culture a lot, and especially like Jamaican Caribbean culture. We have the father who is the disciplinarian, mama cuddle and take care of home and do whatever the case may be, and the child is there playing their role. You come in, you don't ask no questions, you know what I mean? But I want to know how mommy do what she does, how daddy does what she does. You just want to know so there's a roof over your head and whatever the case may be. Speak when you're spoken to, answer when you're called, blah, 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 blah. Now when I look around and I see my youths, them, I'm a bridging them with them children. Even if I fake them, I fake it. But the one bag a picture up on social media, I'm in that business. I love it. All right? When I say fathers and them sons, mothers and them daughters, you know what I mean? I don't care. A lot of time, I saw somebody make a post the other day when they were saying, people aren't posting stuff to show off on you. You are looking at their post with jealous eyes. Something that's my paraphrasing it. And it is so true. I don't business what the internal thing are going on. But if you see a post a picture of you and your family, guess what? One up, man. It's one up for you and the family. So Martin, happy anniversary to you and your queen. All right. Enjoy. Live up. I have been told from a good source that the article does not cover the full story. And when the full story comes out, it'll paint a different picture. I'm waiting to see. And that is the reason why I am talking about it pretty surface. You know what I mean? I don't want to go on Ed Robinson. You stay. I don't want to go too in-depth and too deep with it, because we don't have all the information. For the most part, when things happen, we hear from the party that's been scorned, right? And then we respond from a place of emotion, right? But that's kind of like waiting for somebody to have their day in court. Certain things should have never happened. Somebody gets killed, and they will start dissecting and say, well, you know what? We don't really know what happened. We'll wait until they have their day in court. We'll see when the evidence comes out, and that's what we're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, the man should have never dead. You should never shoot him. It should have never gone that way, right? And that's the approach I'm taking. So I'm not really gonna go too deep into it, but I'm just looking at it like, yo, I cannot believe that in 2020, right? 2020, this is even an issue. I can't believe that in 2020, this is even an issue, right? The conversation shouldn't even be had right now. Out of many, one people is the motto of the country. That's what we say. But at the end of the day, it's like it's missing a piece. Out of many, one people, but beneficial for a few. Right? Out of many one people, but beneficial for a few. Maybe there's a comma that's missing and there's a second line in it. That it's kind of like the American national anthem where we never sing the second verse. Right? But there is a second verse. So the matter of the country, out of many one people, but beneficial for a few. This should never be a conversation, period. If you want to make a conversation with it, you just have a conversation, because at the end of the day, if somebody has processed hair and then come through this school with the hair all in shambles and look a certain way and not groomed, from my experience going to school in Jamaica, you're going to be brought in the office and told that you can't come to school like that. Go take care of yourself, right? So if you have any form of concerns, address the students coming into class. If them a Rasta, you just want to make sure it's a boy group, because the truth of the matter is this, Sometime in the name of Rasta, man, I grow them locks and just let the thing fly. It's rough. If that is your concern, then address that and say, listen, just make sure you groom and you're proper and your thing and boom, boom, boom. Right? But don't tell a child that they can't come to school with locks. Them if you cut off them locks. You fool? You crazy? If that is what happened. All right? And we're talking about a little girl. Remember, this happened to little boys too. And the grooming is not like them a big man and them have a face full of beard. You don't know, so they're youth, so it's all about the hair. Do what they used to do when I was going to high school. Put on a tam. You know what I mean? School says brown, school says black, school says white, whatever. You do that. You come to school, you learn. You hear. We could be holding back and suppressing the most brilliant mind that this country was ever going to see. And here's what my concern is about all of this now. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. If government, because I saw an interview with Babsy Grange. Of course, that's not necessarily her avenue of expertise, but she is in government, so she can speak on it. And she did mention that it's more to it than meets the eye. And of course, they are definitely going to make sure they take the necessary steps and do whatever is necessary, which may mean amendments to legislation, right? To make sure that no child is denied proper education or denied access to the highest level of education, right? As a result of their hairstyle. So I love that Babsy. Yes, I'm going to rate Babsy Grange and then rating Babsy. We forgot to have a conversation. But that is what's going on right now. And when the outcome comes out, then we'll say what we got to say. But at the end of the day, here's my gripe with it all. Even if everything is rescinded and she's allowed to go to school with no issues or whatever the case may be, this child going to be traumatized for life. And there's something that she's going to carry with her for the rest of the life, which is the land of my birth, the land of, that is out of many one people, the land that I embrace, that I am getting my education right now to try to put on my shoulders and further carry and further share with the world and further represent to the world, tried to oppress me when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. The land that I love, the land that puts Rastafari on the t-shirt, that puts Rastafari on the banner, that put Rastafari on the postcards that they send out to the world, that puts Rastafari in the commercial, tried to oppress me and tell me that the same Rastafari that they're packaging and selling to the world is not accepted at home. You understand me, I say? She's going to live with that for the rest of her life. And that ain't cool. Right? It said them must speak proper. For real. Don't take the worship of the Queen for granted. King, judges still wear wigs in Jamaica. It is so true. And I cannot understand why. I cannot understand why. And again, don't get me wrong, You want to wear your wig in a courtroom? Good. I'm not going to be in any courtrooms anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. Right? So if you want to wear your wig in a courtroom, do your thing. But you can't be doing that. Embracing, celebrating, ritualizing, right? Things from colonialism. Things that really and truly, if you dissect them and check them, represent directly and indirectly colonialization, racism, slavery, all them days. That's where all that thing that come from. You can't embrace, and if you want to embrace that, that's up to you, but you can't embrace that while denouncing us and what we are. right? Look at the scale. It's one thing to say, yeah, me I go out with my colonializing, you know, I celebrate the thing, right? And Rastaman and them thing, it is what it is. They might exist on the plane. But you can't celebrate the colonialization and then try to diminish what is really us. Remember, Rastafari, they talk about its link to Africa. Africa is the inspiration, but Jamaica is the birthplace. That is us. There are very few things in this world that we can claim, say, at the birthplace. Because everything we do, somebody else tried. Them say reggae music, then people start dissecting and tell you where it come from. Some of it come from R&B, some of it come from this. We take a little piece of jazz, we take a little piece of that and whatever, right? Rastafari, one of the few things where we can 100% say our thing, you know. You know what I'm saying? Our thing that it was inspired. Rastafari, Africa, right? But the movement began in Jamaica. We exported Rastafari. We never import Rastafari. Rastafarianism from Africa. We exported Rastafari from Jamaica. All right? So Martin said, can't have one without the other though. If breaching is allowed, we still wear blonde wigs in court, then not allowing locks. The more black things is the other side of that same coin. It speaks to the psychology behind it. In the words of Chronics, they never told us that black is beautiful. You know, that's it too. We not celebrate us. We don't celebrate the black is beautiful concept. We just don't. We celebrate everything else. And that is something that's coming down again from slavery days. Right? Black cat adopting, that's what them say. Not you. Alright? Most things negative are associated with black. Most things positive are associated with white. And my thing pretty much is this. It is one thing for somebody that is not of you to oppress you. That's what oppression is and comes from, right? Someone that is not of you trying to oppress you. But it really, really hurts when it's your own that tries to oppress you. Not only trying to oppress you, but try to oppress you while highlighting, glorifying, raising up the oppressor. Can this a Rasta in a parliament? Them rip that. That's what people, of course, said. Didn't want to go on. Just joining in. What I was saying about Babsy pretty much is that I saw an interview with Babsy, and it wasn't about that, but before the interview came to a close, she was asked about it. She didn't dwell on it too much because of the same thing we were saying earlier, which is a lot of the information is not yet out. We don't know everything, right? We know what they want, what's been released thus far, and you know how it go already. The persons being oppressed are going to speak on it. The oppressors will speak last, right? Because they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's and making sure that when it comes to, when they put it out there to the masses, it sounds proper, right? But again, like I said, we don't know the ins and outs. So I don't speak on it in depth. But what I will speak on is the fact that it should never happen. It shouldn't, just look at it this way. In order for you, okay, let's personalize it right now. I'm here at Homegrown. You must really, really get to me, and I'm a craw. Do something that I really detest for me to go take you to the highest court in the land. Time, effort, resources, money, not just from the country and the court system, the judicial system, but out of my pocket. Because if them are got court, remember, they must have attorneys, right? And they're paying these attorneys. I don't care if they're on retainers or what. But you have to pay them attorney. You're telling me that the oppression of your own people is that important to you and valuable to that it's worth you spending money on an attorney to do that? Not just in a regular court, but the Supreme Court, the highest in the land? To keep them out? It just never should have happened. Like I said, we don't know the intricacies of it, but it just never should have happened. All right? Denny, yep, the legacy of colonization, even though white people aren't leading Jamaica anymore, their value still stands because so many who are mentally enslaved still believe white is right. So true. So true. So true. And that's the thing about a lot of these things, they stand deep. They're viral. I want to say viral, I don't mean spreading over the internet. I mean like a virus. Once it's in, it's in. You can cure bacterial infections. You cannot cure viral infections and dead for life. Right? So a lot of these things are ingrained. And the unfortunate things, they're being passed down. Right? So a lot of these people, it's being passed down to them. It's being taught to them. Right? Inferior complexes are being taught to people. There are people at home right now teaching their children inferiority complexes, teaching them that they are beneath, that there are others better than them. There are parents that are doing that right now. And the sad part of it is successful parents to uneducated parents. Sometimes we're not going to sit down and listen to the people who are not successful, you know. But you got a lot of successful people out there that's teaching and preaching that same thing. And younger folks will listen to them because it's coming from somebody who's achieved success. So they must know what they're talking about, right? And that's what we're teaching and preaching and sending from one generation to another. Crazy. But that's what's happening, right? And that's the only reason why you can see hundreds of years later, people who look like us that should be so against certain things still living up to it and living it. We got to be careful. Speaking of all of that, boom thing, Chezidek brand spanking new album is called Hello Africa, right? I just feel like it's just so relevant. And with this conversation going on, I had to hit him up and say, yo, here I'm not Chezidek. We need to talk to you. That's one. And I love the album, Hello Africa. And I got to give away one or two or three of these. So this week on the night show, I'm going to play the whole album for you. I am in town, but I'm not supposed to be in town. I'm just here because a hurricane came up. I needed to be by my family. So I left equipment and I did everything. I'm at the studio, ill-equipped, ill-prepared, but had to talk to y'all because y'all my people, right? And I feel like I'm missing out on stuff when we're not communicating. You know what I mean? So, album, Hello Africa, by Chezidek. Brand spanking new thing. I love the fact that artists still put time and effort into putting out projects in its physical form, right? Track names, telling you who the writer of the thing is, the composer is, the producer, the publisher, the whole nine, right? You can still get it on iTunes wherever you want to get it if that's your means of consumption. But me as a man, I love my physical CD. I'm going to tell you a little something in case you ain't know. You can buy the physical CD, upload it, and put it by iTunes. Boom, right? So, Hello Africa. This week, today's what, Monday? This week, I'm giving away 3 of these. Just follow me on social media at MyGCool, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You are going to get one of these. Lioness, I was supposed to have given out a Jana and CV, and I already have. We're giving away gifts over here, and that's what we're doing. You know. Lioness, this is my copy, but I have your copy ready to go out in the mail. It's going out this week, all right? This is going, a copy of Janine's album Note to Self is going out. Sending out some copies at Chezidek. Again, follow me Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, because in the middle of the night, you never know when I'm going to send a message to somebody and it's going to sound like this. Yo, I got the Chezidek album. You want one? And the person going to say, yeah, I'm just going to send it to you. All right? Boom. Jadan's album 369. A lot of information in here. One of the songs on my top 21 songs for 2020 thus far comes off of this one. It's called Truth. And in fact, one comes off of this one. It's called Is It Because I'm Black? So we got a lot of stuff going on here at Homegrown with G-Cole. Pay attention. I will get it to you. All right. Denny, it never should have happened. It never should have happened. Suzette said, it doesn't matter if reggae is a part of every other country's. Jamaican put it together to make it reggae. So it's still 100% from Jamaica. Not saying no. Understand that completely, Suzette. Understand that completely. What I'm saying pretty much is this. Whether we want to admit it or not, people will question its origins. And if you talk to the originators of reggae music, they are going to mention where their influences and so forth come from. Influence and inspiration is two different things. So their influences come from other genres and so forth. And that's fine. That's what makes it as dope as it is, right? But I'm just saying, to further reiterate the point, Rasta, a Jamaica that come from, right? Inspired by the motherland, right? But created by the homeland. So that's what I'm saying. It's one of the few things that we can say, yeah, that's us. All right. Then he says, we don't think our hair is beautiful. We believe what white hair is that the standard of beauty. That is true. So many young Jamaican women, hundreds of dollars on European hair texture. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. I am the physicality of it is one thing. You know, it's just the mental slavery. That phrase comes up a lot. The mental slavery of it, which is the issue to me, because here's what happens. Other ethnicities and other cultures take our stuff when they want to, right? For recreational purposes, right? The braids, the Bo Derricks and all them. You know what I mean? They take the braids and the fashion statements and what we do. All right? Our dress patterns, dress codes, whatever the case may be, our slang and all them things, right? They take it for fun, for pop culture, for cool factor. But they don't sell out their own. They don't abandon their own and make that their norm. And the unfortunate thing is that's what we do. Right? We abandon our thing and latch on to the other. The ignorance is one thing. We have a lot of brainwashing that has been done, not just to Jamaicans as a whole, but to the black community, right? And the unfortunate thing is, we still have some of our brightest minds in the black community that, in their own way, perpetuate the stereotypes. You have some people who one day go tell you, say, that's oppression and we can't do that. But on the other end of the segment, they're supporting the oppressors, right? I had a conversation with a Rasta bridge of mine the other day, right? And we're talking about just the political state here in the U.S. And I am a firm believer of to each his own. Support who you want to support for whatever reason, right? I'll support who I want to support. You support who you want to support. You must know why you support them, just as I would like to know. I know why I support who I support. But a lot of time, the agenda is bigger than all of that. What we're finding is reasons to justify the agenda. Perfect example. I hear the man talk about Obama and the things that happened during the Obama presidency, right? And as I listened, I realized that you're digging and reaching for the reason and the excuse to support who you want to support today. Because at the beginning of the presidency, you firebomb the president, right? And things have transpired over time and time and time and time. And the people you work for are supporters of the president. The people who put food in your mouth and money in your pocket are in support of the president, right? So all of a sudden now your tune kind of change. Now, I don't care what your tune is and who you want to support. But I'm going to tell you this. Enough people switch. I'm afraid for 100% admit to them switch because them don't want to get burned out as a Rasta man. Support who you want to support. Stand by it. You understand me? My firm belief is just, I am going to support what is right. And if no matter what the agenda is and what you bring to the table, if me feels that you're morally diminished, me can't support that, right? And I'm going to stand by this where I say I don't care who's in office, my success or failure don't determined by you, right? I'm going to be broke or well off regardless of who's in there. And everybody who I know broke and well off is broke or well off regardless, despite who's in there, right? So you got to do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, we've got certain things that we've got to uphold, and that is the future for our youth, all right? All right? We halfway through the race. The Bible says 70, right? Is what you're normally guaranteed, which is 70 years on the planet. Me, I'm 42, right? So I'm past the midway point, right? After 70, a gravy time, which ultimately means people of my age, and especially people older than I am, should be right now focused on what we're leaving for these youths, physically, emotionally, mentally. So what did they leave this little girl? Emotionally, mentally, and even physically, with this whole ordeal about her having to cut off her locks in order to be able to go to that school. What did they leave her? Right? What did they leave her? Denny. Yep, black people across the globe are mentally enslaved. I love my locks, says Mish. Yeah, I understand. I'm sure business. You understand? Yeah. Hot girl thing you there, man. Diane, what's up? How are you? Wagwan, Mr. Malvo. How you doing, sir? Wagwan. Diane, wagwan. Listen. There's right, there's wrong. We just got to figure out what we're for and what we're support. And like I said, we don't know the full details of what went on. We don't know the full details of what's going on. Hey, Bettina, how are you? We just don't know. And when it comes out, we will know. But it doesn't change the fact that it should have never happened. Now, I am not saying an institution of any kind doesn't have the right to say you are going to be a part of my institution. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. But here we know. If you have a business, if you've got an institution, if you got home, you got whatever the case may be, you have the right to say, hey, can you represent me a certain way in terms of appearance and grooming? You do not have the right to tell somebody or ask somebody, demand of somebody, require of somebody to compromise their spiritual beliefs, which that most people who are wearing locks and all them things, if they're not willing to cut it off over education, over certain things, it's normally from a spiritual standpoint. It's not just I'm trying to be fly, right? But you ain't got the right to ask somebody to compromise, to trade in, to change their beliefs, their ethnicity, because that is tied into ethnicity. Because of you and because of what you want them to do, that ain't right. That ain't right. Again, I knew 2 or 3 Rasta kids in high school with me. And now that I think about it, 2 of the neatest youth, them and the little girl and the chick, the neatest in the school. Never saw them locks. One day, the school required that they put it up in a tam. And the tam was in line with the school colors. It was either brown or black, just like the belt and the shoes. Neat. Bright kids too. Right? One of the best English teachers we had at that high school, Rasta lady. So you are going to tell me no, right, leaders of these institutions, that if one of the most brilliant minds in the country as an educator is a Rasta, you're not going to make them come teach at your school because them have locks? Is that what you're saying to me? You would rather take an educator that is subpar who looks, right, the way you want them to look versus somebody who is educated but have locks to come in and teach your student, right? And you'd rather deny a student who has great potential of coming in and learning because she have locks and then bring in whomever because they fit that. You're crazy, man. And like I said, we don't know the intricacies of it. I'm interested to hear it. But at the end of the day, it should have never happened. It should have never happened. Again, I am not saying the conversation couldn't have been had, right? You can always say, Mr. Such and Such and Mrs. Such and Such, can we have a meeting? And you all meet and you say, listen, I appreciate everybody's religious backgrounds and spirituality and ethnicity and the whole nine. All I ask pretty much is just that, proper grooming be maintained. And to be perfectly honest with you, if the little girl's always properly groomed, it's not even a conversation that you need to have. Right? But let's say for argument's sake, you saw it and thought it wasn't properly groomed. Because like I said, some people just have them thing and go boom. You can have that conversation. And that conversation can be had anywhere, even in the corporate world, anywhere. Right? People say what they want to say all the time, but if you own a business, and you run a business, and you know that people who walk through that door are going to be affected one way, shape, or form by the appearance of the person that they're first dealing with, you're going to have a conversation with your employee, and you too will probably hire somebody who you deem fits the mold a little bit more. That's cool. But you can have the conversation and just let the person know, hey, all I require is grooming. And make it one. Now, if the person decides to continuously not adhere to that, then that's a different issue. But that should have never happened, not to a 7, 8, 9-year-old girl. Never. Never. Because you are teaching that person that this thing called oppression is real. Right? Right here in the homeland is real. We get up tomorrow, we talk about out of many one people because it looks cool on a crest, right? Coat of arms. But like I said, there should be a comma, out of many one people, but beneficial for some. Ain't cool, man. It ain't cool. So as we get more information on it, we'll bring it to you. Again, I'm never going to dig too deep until we have all the information. We're just talking about it from the vantage point of it never should have happened. I want to send love to the parents. We also want to send love to the institution, the people at the institution, because they too need some help. I have a poem coming out in the book. When we say the first step, sometimes to freeing the slaves is to free the slave masters. You know what I mean? A lot of them have slave master syndrome. So they need some education. They need some purging. They need some debriefing. A lot of that. A lot of that. So that they can stop oppress. You don't want people to just oppress because you protested and picketed and pressure them to stop oppressing people. You want them to stop oppressing because they've come to the realization that it's wrong. So we need to educate them. They need to be taught. And if that's not going to work, then we got to relieve them of their offices, of their positions, of their duty that they're misappropriating, right? But the first step is that we've got to try to educate them too. Sometimes there's nothing we can do for them, but let's try. Let's try. Again, I am not. There's rules and there's laws in the land. You know what's funny? Let's talk about rules and laws in the land. There are lots of rules and laws in your land that are not being upheld, but they exist. Did you know that? And I did this. What my major in college was criminal justice, right? And we did a lot of laws, mandates, legislature. That's all over the land. There are some parts in this country that you can go to jail for oral sex. You can go to jail for having sex after a certain hour, right? You can go to jail for having sex a certain way. You can go to jail for drinking on certain days. They're not being upheld because they're old, archaic laws. But the truth is they're on the books. So if somebody really wanted to stick it to you, they could find something to stick it to you. So a lot of these laws are on the books. But because the laws are on the books don't mean you uphold them. You get rid of them. Or you amend them. So remember, the issue here is they were only able to go to the Supreme Court about this because there were laws that supported it. So that's what needs to be fixed. Now, again, even though you have a prime minister, just like we have a president here, president or the prime minister can't just call and say, no, make that thing that work. And stop the law from taking its course. But you can have some influence. You could call the school or have your office call the school and say, what the hell are we having here in the land of Jamaica? Have a conversation. And then you make the necessary steps to make sure that this can't go and can't happen again and get worse. Know what I mean? So, yes, the Prime Minister can have an influence. Yes, the government can have an influence. But in all actuality, the fact that the laws are on the books is the major problem. Get rid of them laws there. Or amend those laws. Because if you don't get rid of the law, you don't amend the laws. If laws of oppression are on the books, all people have to do is follow the law. If there are laws of oppression on the books, all somebody has to do to oppress you is follow the law. I'm going to say it one more time. If there are laws of oppression on the books, all somebody has to do to oppress you is follow the law. So we got to fix some of that. All right? Coming from the ancient, archaic slavery days, we got to fix some of them things. Right? And at the end of the day, too, we've got to... Because it's one thing when you oppress people, or one thing when you deny people the rights to be themselves and celebrate and embrace their culture. But when you do that while embracing the culture that oppressed them, it not pretty, it not sweet, it not nice. Right? When you do that while, you hear what I'm saying? When you do that while, i.e. the wigs, the man thing, you're embracing this British, the European culture, which is symbolic of the oppressors, while stifling your own people from expressing themselves, and that's where the problem comes into play. Remember, and the odd part about it is that all these things are happening around what we are calling Emancipation Day. You know what I mean? We talk about emancipation, and then it makes people start saying, well, we're not emancipated, and all them things. Are we? And so when it comes to independence and those things, and I'm a firm believer that Jamaica didn't gain independence from the UK. The UK gained financial independence from Jamaica. Right? So what happened is Jamaica didn't gain their independence. What Britain did was relinquish their right to financially provide for Jamaica anymore. That's exactly what happened, right? So if that be the case, why are you still sitting there embracing all kinds of British customs and everything there, right? And even the whole anti-Rasta vibe too is coming from this too, But like we said, we don't know all the details. We're going to wait until the details come in and we'll talk about it again. But at the end of the day, it just goes back to it should have never happened. All right? It should have never happened. Listen, remember what I'm going to say. May I give away a Chesedek CD. Brand spanking new album in these streets. Where is it? Where is it? Boom. We're giving away a Chesedek CD. All right? Follow us on social media at MyGCole for your opportunity, your chance. Forget what go on there, J-Warwick. What's popping? All right? JustMusic.com in the building. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, right now is no better time for an album like this, an empowering thing. People always make it seem like when you say pro-Africa, pro-Black, Pan-Africanism, whatever the case may be, you're saying anti-something else. You're not. You're just uplifting your own culture and celebrating your own culture. And I think this album summed it up really nice for me. So I'm really, really loving this album. And that's why I wanted to share it with y'all. So tonight, probably not tonight. Just because, again, probably not tonight. But I'm going to be going through this entire album. Again, follow me on social media. I'll let you know exactly when I'm going to do it. But I'm going to be going through this entire album. I'm going to be giving away 3 copies. I want to big up Chesedek. I want to big up Tad's Records. All right? For this one right here. And I'm for sending that. If I can come on tonight, I will. The reason why I say I don't want to say I am is because, again, I'm only in right now here because I came in because of the hurricane to make sure that my fam was good, and equipment and everything is not with me, right? So I left certain things because I just rushed in. I was supposed to have already been gone back, so I don't want to bring it to you if I can't bring it to you the right way. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? I might just come through, bring a mobile setup, do the same thing right like we're doing it right about now on the phone, live stream. So that way y'all could hop on and talk to us if you want to, all right? But I'm going to give away them CDs for sure, though. I'm going to give away them CDs for sure. All right? But I want to thank you all so much. Remember to keep supporting and subscribing to Jamaicans.com. Homegrown with GCole, the podcast, is available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Radio.com, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there. So please subscribe to that. There's no cost to do so. Absolutely free. We listen to some great music. We talk to some great people. The artist is Chesedek. All right. The info is on my page. All right. And yeah, man, support the movement every time. We appreciate you. We thank you all so much for rocking out with us, having a good time, and I'm gonna see you. If everything goes well, I'll see you tonight. All right. If not, I'll see you when I see you. All right. Well, we got all kind of things in store for you. Everybody stay safe. We're here in South Florida. We were bracing for a hurricane. It's gone by us, but there are a lot of people who are not out of the work. So all of my people up in the Carolinas and Virginia, all in places that could possibly, Baltimore, all in places up there that could possibly get the hurricane. Just be safe, all right? We keep you in our thoughts and our prayers. Also want to express my thoughts and my prayers to Christina Alicia. Just lost her husband. Can't be an easy time for her, but I just got to say, mad respect to how she's, that's the one thing about having faith and spiritual grounding is just prepares you for certain things, and it seems that she's strengthened and looking at it as just appreciative of the time that she had with her husband versus the mourning process. It always will hurt because guess what? That's you lose your right hand, I don't know what I do. So I just want to send out my thoughts and prayers, and you all do the same. All right, send out your thoughts and your prayers. We ain't always gotta reach out physically because a lot of times I know when I suffer loss and so forth, it's just impossible for me to get back with everybody, all the hundreds of people who hit me up, and it's just a testament to the love that we get out here. All right, but sometimes it's just the thoughts and the prayers that are the major things that can be beneficial. All right, just give them strength. All right, energy. You know what I mean? So I thank you all so much. Much love, much respect. I appreciate y'all big time. When I say big time, I mean big time. Wall Street, I'd mentioned somebody posted something today about, your little girl, 5, 6, 7 years old, whatever, would you be okay with them wearing nail polish? It varies. I think women have a different vantage point, a different viewpoint than men. My sentiment, I think, is reflected and represented more of the men than anybody else. It's a hell no for me. All right? It's a hell no for me. But at the end of the day, like I posted earlier, little girls play dress up with their dolls. Women play dress up with their daughters. All right? But at the end of the day, I think that certain things should be reserved. I don't care when people talk about, oh, we're having our bonding moments when we're at the spa and she's getting her little nail polish put on her toes and her fingers and whatever the case may be. It's our bonding time. You can't find other ways for bond. Here, I'll force right up here, I'll force right to pit them. Goodbye. Thank you so much. No drama. I'm out. All right? Blessings, blessings, blessings. Much love. Appreciate y'all. Peace.